this is just a quick little intro video, just something funny. Wanda actually had this on her Instagram, and I thought it was funny, something funny to kind of start us off here. I think if it'll play.
It's on the yeah, this one. And the other ones. Those three over there.
Why you looking at me like that? That's why you gonna got a man now.
And I don't need one. Cause mans do too much. All they do is be sitting on the couch playing games. And that's what you be doing.
But what if he pay your bills though?
He don't need to pay my bills because I got money on my own.
Oh my God. What grade do I teach? What grade y'all in?
Third grade, 8th grade.
Are you sure? Third grade for real?
I think I'm in high school.
I mean, what she was saying was facts, but y'all get out a book. Everybody get out a book. Everybody get out a book. Thanks. Dear, drop and read, because y'all doing too much, as usual.
All right, there you go. So y'all saw that video. I thought that was something funny, something cute. And now you put this modern woman training starts young. You saw the little girl look like she said, "What you looking at?" Talking to the young boy, and he was like, he said, "That's why you don't got no man." He said, "Because you got an attitude." And then she just went off and said, "I don't need a man," and all that stuff. And I just thought it was funny. Like, man, they starting young with this modern women training. I know the conversation's on modern men, but I just thought that was funny. We got a future kid was a future male podcast host telling her, "That's why you don't got no man." So I just thought that was something funny to kind of get us going with the conversation. But welcome to all the new group members. Welcome to the returning group members. We're going to talk a little bit about what this group is about, and then we'll get started. It's a group about learning and teaching something new, encouragement toward better health, wealth, and relationships. We're not a singles group, we're a friends group. And with the friends group versus singles group, they're different expectations. You're going to come to this group and you're definitely going to make friends, but I can't guarantee if you're single, you're going to find somebody. I know sometimes people come to these events and conversations with the expectation of finding somebody, but that's not really my goal. And I don't try to necessarily facilitate that type of interaction. But if it happens, it happens, and good for you. But if you want to come and you want to make friends, I definitely try to facilitate those sort of interactions. And that's the goal here. About socializing with other positive people. We do online and in-person meetups. We're a meetup group that's created for Black people, but we don't discriminate on others on the basis of race, religion, or sexual orientation. So everybody's welcome. If you look at pictures from the picnic, you see sprinkled in there people of other ethnicities. You'll see people of different sexual orientation. Well, you can't see that in a picture, but some people just don't wear their sexuality on their sleeve. But there are people in the group who have different different lifestyle choices and different things, but everybody's welcome. A lot of these conversations online are geared toward heterosexual Black male-female relationships. Actually, that's who I have in mind when I do these conversations. So, but everybody's welcome in the group. Everybody's welcome to share. And, that's just kind of where we go from there. But different levels of membership within the group. If you go on Meetup and you just search your name under group members, you have like a Jedi affiliation assigned to you. And these are just basically participation levels within the group. It's just something fun I figured we do. And people who participate the most and who have been participating positively for the longest are Jedi Masters. New people are Force sensitive. Everybody who came to the picnic, you attend at least one event, or if you show up on camera, you become a Jedi automatically. So that's just it's just different. It's just a way to, just something fun that we do. And I got it from the Star Wars universe. So just some context on why we're having these relationship conversations online. One is to meet new people and see where they stand on important relationship issues, to learn more about the opposite sex, and to restore and encourage healthy relationships through engaging in conversation. That's what we're having here. It's not, a lot of people say, I see like after conversations or before conversations, people say, hey, this should be a good debate. But my goal isn't a debate, it's a conversation. And the goal with a conversation is understanding. With the debate, there are winners and losers. With this, it's just a conversation. So there's no winners, there's no losers. We're just trying to get understanding on where the opposite sex stands. And hopefully there's some growth that happens as a result. This was an interesting thing, comes from the Institute of Family Studies. As you can see, in the Black community, more children grow up in households without a father than who do. And we're the lowest of all ethnicities in the United States. So when we say the goal is to create more two-parent households, we're trying to combat, or we're trying to do something in our own way to reverse that trend and reverse that narrative. Prior to the 1960s, Black folks were the most married population in the United States, but something changed after the 1960s, 1970s era. We became the least married. I have some things on the right here that I think may have contributed to that. But I guess people have different philosophies and different ideas about why things begin to change. But I'll leave it up to you. These are some things I think that may have contributed to it. Let's see. Currently today, we are the least married of all groups. As you can see, 50% of Black people have never been married. This is the lowest of other groups, where you can see 34% in other groups. So there's some real work to be done, and there's a real relationship crisis in the Black community. Okay, so the topic of the conversation is modern men suck at dating and relationships. And I added a tag on it, therapy needed. So we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through it. But a lot of questions were asked on, hey, what's a modern man? There was a lot of confusion, and we tried to break down some of that within a lot of these conversations we're doing. And we broke down different dating areas, and we talked about different mindsets around what a modern man is, what a traditional man is, and how it used to be back in the old days, back in Africa. So we're going to break that down some more. So a traditional mindset, I'm not going to go through that here, but for the Black community, marriage was an economic means of survival from the Reconstruction Civil Rights era. Marriage, the concept of marriage in the United States was really, it started off as a spiritual concept, and the church was heavily influenced in that. That's kind of where the modern idea of monogamous relationships and monogamous marriage came from. A lot of it was influenced from the church. With a traditional mindset, the man is the head of the family. He's a protector and the provider. With the traditional mindset, the woman is a man's helpmate. This is a traditional mindset. Also with the traditional mindset, there's complementarianism and egalitarianism. I know these are kind of fancy words here, but they're basically just ways of saying that men and women are different. With complementarianism, it believes that men and women are equal, but they're different in their different roles and functions. But the different roles complement one another. Egalitarianism says that men and women are equal, not only in our worth and our humanness, but also in our function. Meaning that there's no like the stuff about gender roles and all that stuff is kind of out the window with the egalitarian worldview. Traditional mindset people, traditional men believe in traditional gender roles within the home. And there we're talking a lot about authority within a relationship. We're talking about headship, like who's the head of the family. You know, is it two people the head? Is the man the head? Where, you know, that's kind of what we're talking about with the traditional mindset, the man's the head. And we're talking about support roles too. So, and there's also with the traditional mindset, there was a focus on the nuclear family. You know, we're talking about a dad, a mom, and kids. That's the traditional mindset. And then we moved into like what are different modern mindsets. This is a definition of a modern man in totality, but these are some of the things that kind of influence the modern man that we see today. And like I said, I think a lot of us are part modern, some traditional, all of us are. We live in modern times. So I don't think we should look at any of these definitions or any of these terms that are applied to us as necessarily bad things. They're just the way things are. We live in modern times, so most of us tend to be modern men. I consider myself more modern, but I do have a lot of traditional values, you know, when I think about it. But here we go. So the modern mindset, dating replaced courting. There's emergence of social media, tolerance and equality are becoming more of a thing here. There's more access to financial access and prosperity during these times. Expansion of feminism. So with feminism, there's an increased access to education and employment for women, dismantling patriarchal norms. And as we can see with traditional mindset, the family is really a patriarchal family, which is patriarchy just comes from a root word meaning the rule of the father. That's what patriarchy means, the rule of the father. But with the new modern mindset is they're trying to dismantle anything that's patriarchal. It's not seen as a good thing. We also see women's sexual liberation movement, also no fault divorce, where people can't, you know, there's almost sometimes incentives for people to divorce and not to stay married. And it's called a no fault divorce. So people don't have to stay in marriages. It's just easier to get divorced. It's easier to get married, easier to get divorced. There's an acceptance and support, a promotion of non-nuclear family structures. And as I showed here, and I frequently show this slide because to me, this is the pinnacle of feminist thought, modern feminist thought that has become toxic. And she said, this is Brittany Cooper. She's like a preeminent female feminist of today. And she says, we don't need traditional nuclear families for Black thriving. So, and basically she's saying that we don't need a family with a man in the household in order for the Black community to thrive, which I believe is just completely false notion. And I frequently share that because I think it's just so important. So men and women increasingly view marriage as a means to reach self-actualization and esteem rather than the lower needs on Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Anybody that's familiar with psychology is familiar with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And as you can see with like a traditional mindset, the needs that people were trying to meet was like safety, belonging, and esteem. And then as we move into a modern era, we're trying to reach self-actualization through relationships. We're trying to reach our esteem needs through relationships. The lower needs on Maslow's hierarchy are no longer as important with the modern mindset. Not necessarily a bad thing, but it's just different. And it's changed the way we approach dating and relationships. So now people, they ask things like, what are you bringing to the table? Men and women are asking that. It used to be obvious what the other sex brought to the table, but now it's not so much. And this here, just a slide here that shows how opinions on relationships and marriages have changed within a modern mindset. As you can see, it used to be prior to the 1990s, having children was one of the primary reasons why people got married. But there's a 24% decrease in the reason for marriage that makes a marriage work, children. And then let's see, there's a 15% increase where people now think, sharing household chores. So we see that there's a different changes in thoughts and ideas about that. The reason why people get married today with modern is for love and for making a commitment, companionship, whereas things like having children are lower now. Financial stability is lower now, where traditionally, y'all still remember the first slide where for the Black community, marriage was an economic means of survival. Now it's really low on people's priorities. Now people are getting married for love. I know once I talked to one sister and she said that, I meet a lot of great guys, but I just haven't found that somebody I have a spark with. So now we're at a day and age where now we're looking for sparks versus compatibility. So even if you're compatible with somebody, if you don't have that spark, it's not going to happen. So this is why we're seeing less marriages, especially in the Black community and elsewhere. So we're just trying to work, man. We got a lot of folks in here, man. This would be an interesting conversation for people. All right, so now we're going to get into more particular, and a lot of this is going to be a lot of it's opinion based, and it's my opinion, so forgive me. I don't like to dive really deep into my personal opinion. I just try to share facts, data, statistics, and go off of that. But with this sort of conversation, I have to insert my own opinions into it a lot of times. And some of you may share my opinions, some of you may not, but y'all have a chance to kind of respond and whatnot toward the end. But this was a video Monique had sent me. Y'all see Monique there on the screen before on the last conversation. And with modern men, I think we're seeing a lot of failures in leadership. And let me just share this here.
What's something you'll get a lot of hate for if you say it out loud?
A lot of men want a woman to submit to them, but can't lead their way out of a wet paper bag. I'm talking can't lead a group of third graders in a sack race. I mean, where you gonna lead her to? To hell? I mean, you're ill-mannered, you're emotionally unstable, short-tempered, you can't change a damn flat, you ain't got no health insurance. Some of you show more loyalty to your home more than you do your old lady. But got the audacity to say that you want a woman to go 50-50 with you. Sir, what you want is a roommate that cooks, cleans, and lets you hunch on her every now and then. I mean, look around, look at yourself. If you can't lead yourself, how in the hell you gonna lead a woman? I mean, just because the Lord bless you with a dang-a-lang don't mean that you the head of anything. I mean, ask yourself, would you want your daughter to submit to a man like you? If the answer is no, you should probably be doing better.
There he goes. He's saying a lot there. And to be honest, just me personally, I don't identify as the sort of man that he's describing at all, but I can understand. And this is why I mentioned in the comments that we're trying to exercise empathy here, because I feel like there could be a lot of men out there who are kind of behaving this way and in this manner. But so modern men complain. So a lot of times with this, men always say, well, what about her? We saw it all throughout the comments lead up to this conversation. And yeah, I'm called, like with this conversation with guys, I know I can take the gloves off a little bit. So y'all bear with me, guys. So a lot of the guys in the comments are saying, well, what about her? Her too. Women are the problem too. But you know what I hear? This is one brother here, Darsk, I don't know if he's here. He said, modern women suck too. This isn't the topic of the conversation. Why are we talking about modern women? We're talking about modern men. We talked about women last conversation. But then, so this is what you get. We're getting a lot of pushback from guys in the comments. And this is what it sounds like to me. I don't know if any of y'all are, into the Bible or anything like that, but we go back to the story of Adam and Eve and in Genesis says, the woman you put here with me, she gave me the fruit and I ate it. It's a lot of finger pointing versus taking accountability for our own actions. So we say, hey, modern men have a problem and have an issue. Men go, well, women are worse. So that's just a lack of leadership to me. This is a problem that I think we're seeing with a lot of modern men. If we just need to focus on ourselves, we need to look at ourselves. Even if, I don't disagree with you that women have issues, but what about us? Why every time we put the lens and the spotlight on us in modern days, we have to say, oh no, look at the women. This is what the women are doing. This is why we're this way. No, let's just take accountability, just own up to it. So this has to stop, I think. So there's failures in leadership with modern men. Then we're seeing poor cultural influences. And disclaimer, any of y'all have been to a few of these conversations, I said that I agree with 80% of what Kevin Samuels said. But he's also said a lot of toxic stuff here. And one of the things we see here, high value men cheat. And it may be true. Zibaka says, he said it's true, high value men cheat, but should that be something we just say, hey, high value men cheat? What about, where's the standard at? If you want to cheat, why not just leave? Why don't you just be single? Or why don't you just have an open relationship or open marriage? We'll probably talk more about that a little later. He talks about expectations for sex after 5 p.m. These are some of the more toxic things. Now, I said 80% of what he says I agree with and is right, but these are some of the more things that he's saying that's real toxic. And then he's always going on about this is what's wrong with modern Black women. So these are some poor cultural influences. Then you have Fresh and Fit, who's another male podcast show. And these are the voices that men are hearing today. And these are the voices that men are going out into the dating market with. And these are the voices that women are hearing. So men are taking the philosophies of a Kevin Samuels, of a Fresh and Fit. Men are taking this toward women in the dating market. And this is what they're running up against. But listen to Fresh and Fit here.
It's funny, I never used that one, bro.
What about the Black dating app called Black?
Oh, it's funny, I never used that one, bro. But hey, man.
I mean, hey, bro, if you want to date a bunch of Shaniquas, go for it, man.
LaQuisha.
Yeah, like me and Fresh aren't really down with the brown like that.
Man.
We ain't night riders.
Nah,
so
bro, I'm good.
Sometimes if they're, Redbone, but like in general, me and Fresh don't dabble in the dark, if you know what I'm saying.
Yep.
Okay.
I ain't gonna lie, just keeping it real. I don't really date Black girls. it's not because like most Black girls are like annoying, how to put this, ratchet, and they don't know how to like be reserved. You're like the complete opposite.
You are not the stereotype.
So there you go. Y'all heard Fresh and Fit. These are Black guys saying, I don't really date Black women. Most Black women are ratchet. They're XYZ. If you look at the women here, I don't think we have a lot of ratchet, disrespectful, or women like they're talking about here in this group. And I don't run into Black women like that in my regular day-to-day life. So where's this stuff coming from? What's the agenda? But these are the voices that men are hearing. So there's poor cultural influences. And we're going to talk about the cultural influences more. But this is what's happening in this, and this is why I say modern men suck at dating and relationships, because these are their ideas and their philosophies.
Stitch this and tell me what problem you have with Kevin Samuels on this platform.
Y'all knew I was coming when I found this video, dog. So here's the thing. I don't necessarily have a problem with Kevin Samuels' platform. I have much more of a problem with his supporters. Now, you
said Kevin Samuels leverages broken men for clout. Okay.
Granted, Kevin Samuels does speak from a place of a wildly generalized amount of misogyny, right? But
he said the number of these men that support Kevin Samuels lack emotional intelligence. Remember that word, emotional intelligence. We're going to talk about it in a second. And critical thinking skills.
Years ago, he was utilizing that same fervor with men, but men were nowhere to be found.
There are too many men who perceive constructive criticism as a challenge. That's what we saw here. I'm trying to have some constructive criticism for this conversation. A lot of men felt extremely challenged, and they were going off in the comments. Let's see here. And in return, they don't grow. Sorry, I'm pausing a lot, but there's a lot. There's the little, whatever the commentary that they put on this video, which is priceless.
So why are they now found when there's women involved? My problem with Kevin Samuels' platform is that it's irresponsible. He is talking to men who are broken and need to go to therapy. No, like, I'm quite serious. Some of these men are responding in ways that are clearly indicative of relationship trauma as it relates to women. But instead of being self-reflective,
when you do not challenge men to be spiritually, emotionally better, women are usually the recipients of the trickle down. So we're talking about leadership here. We're talking about men, just whatever women have going on. When you don't challenge men, women are going to be the recipients of it. And I think we're seeing a lot of that.
To what it is that they could potentially change, they continue to go into these echo chambers where they consistently blame women for all of their problems. Like, go follow Kier Gaines, bro. Like, that'll probably be better for you.
There you go, blaming women for their problems. So it's a quick little funny video I got here.
Alpha Male Training Facility.
Hot value, hot value, high value, man. Kevin Samuels said, Kevin Samuels submit. Value, high value, man. Kevin Samuels. Join us, my brother, as we wage war against these low-value females in the name of the father we never had, Kevin Samuels. The son that we will not raise fit, and the holy fresh.
Do you not know that these hoes have kids? Kids! That means the vagina has been used. Used vagina. Used What man want a vagina that don't come with a tag on it? I can't get jiggy with that shit. Kevin Samuels said. Everything right here in the book of our Lord and Savior Kevin Samuels. My alpha levels are reaching 9,000. Kevin Samuels said. Shit!
All right, so that was just a funny video I thought I'd share. I see the comments. I can't read the chat what's going on, but I can't imagine what y'all are saying in there. I wonder if people are saying I'm pandering or whatnot. But, you know, last conversation, we looked at the women, and I'm fair across the board. I'm fair across the board. But I can't imagine I don't even want to look at what's happening in the chat. But I see y'all going off over there. But everybody's going to have a chance to weigh in on it. So y'all just bear with me. I'm taking the gloves off, guys. All right, so now more examples of poor cultural influences here. This lady here, it said, Future has created 7+ broken homes, but Russell Wilson's the one that's corny. God forbid a man actually be a great father and loving his wife. This is the world we live in. I'm scared of y'all. And y'all remember we talked about Russell Wilson maybe 2 conversations ago, but recently, right after we, not say right after we had a conversation, but in recent time, Russell Wilson's been back in the headlines again, people getting on Russell Wilson. We're gonna share what happened.
But Russell and Sierra. Yeah, if Russell ain't had that bread, she ain't gonna be with him. Russell square. Russell square. Sierra had she has a good situation, but you don't leave Future and get with Russell Wilson.
The thing is,
I think that's where
you
don't leave Future and get Russell Wilson. Like, it's a type. Listen, bro, everybody got a type.
Yeah, that's true.
Everybody has a type. You gonna leave Future and get with Russell Wilson? He's so goddamn square, and I love him on the field. He's a square.
Channing.
He's a fucking square.
Channing, you go from this level of toxicity, you just want something stable. You want the guy that was sitting with that girl with that big old mouth at the draft that was laughing, and you knew she deserved to be with him.
Goofball?
Yeah, you want that guy.
You want to get with Goofball's husband.
You want the guy that told me, you know what? I was praying, and God told me to go save her. That's what the man told me to my face. But even with
Russell,
I want to know the line that in your mind that made you bag Sierra. What was the line that got her to go out on a date with you?
Well, first of all,
shit.
I had this wallet. I had this wallet, and it was broke. It was broke down. It was like kind of tore up. I had it for a while. I was single at the time. I was running around single, and I had this wallet. It was torn up. So I could, first day we met, and we had been talking for 2.5 hours, hanging out, whatever. And she saw the wallet sitting on the table. She said, "What the hell is that?" She said, "What the hell is that?" I said, "What are we talking about?" She said, "That wallet. You losing with that?" I said, I put my finger. I said, "First of all, with me, you never lose."
Ooh.
I said, second of all, I said, that wallet, that shows consistency. Shows consistency. That's what you're gonna get from me. Wow. You're gonna get somebody who's gonna be consistent for you every day.
See, that's what
even when your shit old and broke down.
So I rock with Russell Wilson heavy, man, and he gets a lot of flack, man. I've been supporting him. I've been supporting Russell Wilson, at least on a few conversations. I rock with Russell Wilson, man. But y'all can see there's negative cultural influences because you got some people saying you corny, you a cornball. They're throwing that heat with a man like Russell Wilson. You got other guys saying, "Man, what you doing marrying a baby mama, man? Like you an NFL quarterback." So he's getting it both ways. But when you got a brother who's y'all see his mindset, man. The brother's he's on it, man. He's intentional. So it's just
I know, Russell gets a lot of heat, a lot of negativity pushed on him for people saying, "Oh, you got with a single mom, you didn't have no kids of your own, you're NFL all-star. Why'd you do that?" But he found a woman that was for him, and he don't care what people have to say about it. He found a woman that was perfect.
So I just shared that because I wanted to show that I was here defending Russell Wilson, and I also want to make a disclaimer that I am not. I'm taking the gloves off. I don't claim to be a perfect man, and I'm actually trying to do some work myself here. So I don't, unless anybody can say anything, like personally, I got some stuff I'm trying to work on. So I'm trying to do an honest evaluation of the times that we live in, honest evaluation of myself. So a lot of this stuff that I may be sharing, a lot of things that I'm saying about the way modern men are and things like that, I'm speaking from personal experience, from the way that I've been trying to change. And I'm speaking from just what I observe and when I listen and talk to women and things that they're saying. So that's where I get it from. We're going to get a poll. We just got one poll for a day, but there's 6 questions. I think it's going to be a good poll. I asked y'all to submit some poll questions in the chat, and a lot of people did. And it's some good polls. It's going to be gender-based, so we're going to do men first, and then we're going to do women. So y'all get ready. Men get ready. It's going to be men first, and we're asking a few questions here. More people are filing in. Let me go ahead and launch the poll here. 6 questions, and I'll read them off as as I read them off, y'all can kind of answer them too. Let me launch it. The poll is now launched. So question 1, have you acknowledged your trauma and have you done the internal, external work in order to manifest a positive view of the opposite sex and to exemplify yourself as a healthy partner? It's kind of a long question, but it's a good question. Given the current dating world we live in and the huge disconnect between men and women, do you honestly see yourself in a healthy, loving relationship? This poll is for men only. Go ahead and you can answer, guys. Would you date yourself? Would you let your son or daughter date you? Have you been to therapy? And what's your overall opinion of therapy? And are you taking positive steps toward being in a positive, healthy relationship? We'll give you guys about a minute more to answer the poll here, and I'll share the results after. Simone, you're in here. If you could, Simone, screenshot the results of the poll and then send them to me after, please, Simone. I'm just curious. I'm an analyst with this stuff. I like to analyze stuff. I like to
Sounds good.
I thought you didn't want to talk, Simone.
This is fine.
Okay. All right, let's see here. We'll stop it. And man, I don't know if we got this many guys. We might have this many guys in here tonight. Let me go ahead and end it because I don't know if my poll, these are just for guys. So I don't know if we got this many guys in here. Maybe we got a lot of people in here. Let me go ahead and end the poll. I think maybe some of the results have been fudged. Let's see here. So yes, 85% for question 1. Let's see here. So about half and half think that they can see themselves being in a healthy relationship in the near future. For that one, I will reply, yes, I can see myself. I'm feeling a lot more comfortable with the dating environment. Would you date yourself?
We can't see the results.
Oh, my bad, y'all. Let me share the results. Sorry. There you go. So where was I at? Would you let your son or yeah, everybody would. That is funny. Have you been to therapy? About 60% yes, 40% no. And what's your overall opinion of therapy? Positive. One person had a negative view, and about 5 guys were indifferent. So about 20%. Let's see. Are you taking positive steps or being in a positive? So one person wasn't. All right. So that's it. That's the results. You got it captured, Simone, for the guys.
I got it.
All right. Thank you, Simone. Let me do the same poll for the women. Let's see, pull up poll 2. And we're going to launch the poll. I'm not going to read the questions off. Y'all already got it, but the poll is now launched. 6 questions. Ladies' turn. Give y'all a second or two to answer. The answers are now pouring in, slowly but surely. And always holds true with the women, the results
are... what's going on with the submit button? Because when I try to hit submit, it won't let me submit.
I'm not sure. I can get some results in. It may just be something on your end, Lena.
Okay.
It usually does that when you haven't answered all of the questions.
Yeah, you got to answer all the questions, I guess. Yeah, check back and see.
I know that. I'm very tech savvy. All the questions are answered. It's not letting me submit.
It might just be something going on with your Zoom, Lena.
Okay.
Let's see. All right, I'll give y'all 15 more seconds. It's a lot of questions. Oh, somebody's trying to get in here. And we got a lot of people in the house. So this is a topic that a lot of people want to weigh in on. It's probably got like 4 more slides, y'all. 4 more slides. And we'll open it up. All right, let me end the poll here and let me share the results. Uh-oh, failed to share poll. Another poll has started. What? Failed to share. Another poll has started or share. Okay, let me. Can y'all see the poll? That's stop.
Yes.
Okay. So these are the results of the poll. See, yeah, we'll see. Yes to number 1 for the ladies. About 80% can see. Oh, ladies have a positive view. They can see themselves in the near future. That's good. I thought the results would be less likely, but there you go. Would you let your son or daughter date you? About three women said no, they wouldn't. That's interesting. Let's see. Have you been to therapy? So more ladies have been to therapy than the guys. It was 84% for the ladies. I think maybe 60% for the guys was the results for the guys. What's your overall opinion of therapy? Positive, negative. About 12% is indifferent. And let's see here. Are you taking positive steps toward being in a hot? Yes. So, okay, there we go. So we're going to stop the share there. And we'll keep it moving along. All right. So we're talking more about poor cultural influences. And these are just some things I'm throwing out there. Struggles with emotional intelligence and soft skills we're seeing, I think, with modern men. And we're going to revisit a past conversation. And I'm glad I got Paul back here because I'm pulling a clip of Paul. And we're going to look at some stuff here. It's interesting. But with modern men, we're seeing like what we just saw recently. We're going to talk about it later, but self-control issues, having a positive attitude. You see with meetups, some folks come down, show up, mean mugging folks, just kind of, being aggressive and rude. Let's see, taking responsibility. We see here we're trying to take responsibility on this call. Some folks are having issue with it. Empathy, lacking empathy. Empathy is being able to understand what somebody else is going through, even if you're not going through it yourself. Conflict resolution, struggles with conflict resolution. You have a problem with another man or a woman. How are you handling it? Do you handle it in a positive manner? These are soft skills that I feel like a lot of modern men are lacking. And in fairness, a lot of women are too. And we see that both this conversation is on men, but there's a lot of struggles with soft skills. Also with emotional intelligence. These are some of the things that make up emotional intelligence. Social awareness. I can't read what I have at the top there, but self-regulation. We're going to talk, remember these words here, because I'm going to play a video and I want y'all to just kind of listen to a lot of stuff. Empathy, motivation. What's that other one up the top? I can't see it. Marco, can you see what's at the top? What are two social ones? One's social awareness. What's the other one?
Social skills and self-awareness.
Okay, there we go. Social skills, effective managing relationships that benefit everyone involved. So there you go. So this is what emotional intelligence is. Emotional intelligence can grow. I took emotional intelligence test for myself and I scored low on it. I was in a 60 percentile on emotional intelligence. So I'm just admitting my own flaws here. It's something I struggle with, something I have struggled with. So I'm trying to increase my emotional intelligence. But this, I think, is something that modern men overall are struggling with.
And from my experiences with me and my friends, we kind of categorize women into wife.
Okay, so just listen to what people are saying here. These are just some past dope conversations we've had, and just listen to the mindset, the modern mindset that we see. We'll just listen to some of the different things that we talked about thus far in that last slide, and just kind of juxtapose it to what was said in these conversations. This clip's about a little less than 4 minutes, so just bear with me, y'all. Just listen to what's being said.
Material based on if we can see us having a serious relationship with them in the future, and then other women that we don't view in that regard. So we're going to casually date the women that we don't see a serious relationship with, and then intentionally date the women that we do. Because obviously as men, we're still going to want to have sex. So, we're still going to try to casually date as well.
You ever heard about having dick discipline? If you can't control like your urges, I'm sorry getting graphic, y'all, but if you can't control your urges now while you're single, when you get married, are you going to be able to still, control your urges? Because we need to really, really talk about this thing and figure out how to get some discipline going here, because I think it's a cop out.
So there you go. Y'all saw, we just talked, that was Babs. I don't think Babs here tonight, but you saw his mindset. And we talked about emotional intelligence and we talked about self-regulation and I said, man, hey, we got to date women casually because we need sex. That's the issue of self-regulation that a lot of modern men are struggling with. And I struggled with it in the past too. It's something I'm still kind of trying to work on, self-regulating yourself, like being able to control yourself. What's appropriate? When is it appropriate? So these are things that we're talking about with emotional touch. Now I got a clip here. We're gonna play of Paul and listen to what Paul was saying.
Hello, everybody. My name is Paul. I just want to say, it kind of just sounds like, a lot of men particularly aren't focusing on themselves. Like, you really got to build something before you're approaching a woman. Like, I'm 33 now. The days of me chasing tail is done because, I've been scarred by women and I've scarred women. That shit will come back to you. So right now I'm in a place right now where I'm just, focusing on my business, trying to get my money right. I went through school, trying to be more social. When I get those things lined up, like I'm attracting like a higher caliber of women. Like, I don't know how to explain it. They're more educated. I glow differently. I went through therapy. So I talk differently. I read my books. I do my meditation. I eat right. I hit the gym. I don't have to go out there and chase nothing. Like, I can have a normal conversation with a woman. And, within that conversation, we know if we click or not. Sex is like on the back of my mind. Like I want to figure out who you are first. I need to know, if you're emotionally stable before I get in bed with you. It's a lot of work. It's the inner work. Nobody really wants to do it. They want that instant shit. Sorry, my French, man.
You're good.
They just want it right now. And like a lot of men, I don't know if it's just the way that we've been socially conditioned. They expect the sex right off the bat because I guess that's what's in the culture now.
But yeah, I agree with it about everything you said, man. I think you hit the nail on the head. And I'm hearing some folks in the comments are saying simp. How is this man a simp when he's saying he's putting himself first, focusing on himself, trying to focus on his character, going to therapy, doing all these things? He's not really focused on chasing.
Hey, they can call me whatever they want at the end of the day.
I see
I'm
an
happy,
evolve.
you know what I'm saying? Like
Carlo,
the people that I'm dating are happy too.
I see an evolved brother who's kind of have his mind, to me, a simp is a guy who spends money trying to get a woman to like him. Like that's a simp to me. But this is a gentleman saying he's not chasing anything. He's being himself. He's elevating. He's attracting what it is that he wants. I'm trying to do the same thing more or less.
Man, Paul, you brought out all the buzzwords tonight, bro. Kudos to you. All the buzzwords, you hit them all on the head. I don't think you're a simp. I just think that's some real pandering type of rhetoric, in my opinion.
What was okay? If you could, I know you got a lot more stuff you probably want to get to. What was pandering about what he said? Help me out.
The therapy, she got to get right with herself. He's right with himself. He can't multitask. He hurt women. Women hurt him. Bro, that's so much mumbo jumbo. I don't even want to get into it. Like that's not real. All respect to him. That's like things women like to hear. That doesn't make any sense.
I completely co-sign with Jay. I think he's actually right. He basically said what I was trying to say, but yeah, it was a little bit pandering on that. My bad. I didn't mean to cut you off and jump in.
You're good. You're good. All right. So a lot of guys think he was pandering. I didn't see it. I missed it. But hey.
All right. So this is Ghost of Conversations Past. And y'all saw what happened there. You had one brother earlier talking about making it acceptable for men to not be able to self-regulate or just kind of, he didn't promote it, but it's kind of more or less what he did. Then you saw Paul come with a mature perspective, talking about therapy, talking about focus on himself, talking about building and trying to work his way up. And then you saw two brothers here. They're both here tonight. They said, man, this guy is pandering, or he's you get all. If you're a man and you're trying to do something positive, you're pandering. Some guys in the chat were calling him a simp. So there's influences for men not to do things that is going to bring about a positive result. And there's no way we can move forward with this, because for the life of me, I don't see anything that he said that was wrong there. But you get pushback as a man when you do that and when you share that sort of opinion in that worldview. How do you grow? How do we grow with that? Like, really, how are men supposed to grow if there's pressure? And there's also pressure that men are getting from women that's negative, but there's also pressure from fellow men, Black men, when another man's trying to do something better to evolve. So these are ghosts of conversation. And I'll give you guys a chance to push back here because I'm calling you guys out, but these are ghosts of conversations past. So I'm glad we record a lot of this stuff here. But then also we got to think about what are the impacts of fatherlessness, because I shared the slide here, and you see that in the Black community, there are a lot of kids, a lot of children are growing up without fathers. What are the long-term implications of that? And these are some things that they look for. And so with homes without a father, there's a 4 times greater risk of poverty, more likely to have behavioral problems, greater risk of infant mortality, more likely to go to prison, more likely to commit a crime, more likely to become pregnant as a teen, more likely to face abuse and neglect, more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, 2 times more likely to suffer obesity, and 2 times more likely to drop out of school. And the question I'm asking is, we're just now beginning to see the long-term implications of fatherlessness, because this wasn't a thing in generations past. But right after we saw the change in statistics after the 60s and 70s, where a lot of men and women, a lot of folks were not growing up in houses without fathers, and we see that when there's a house without father, the statistics are worse. So what are the long-term implications if this trend continues? What kind of generation are we bringing up? What kind of men is this producing? It's just something interesting. So we got to get this thing back on track here. Let's see here. There you are. Asked that question. So here we go.
That was a nice one. Okay. I'm out here. Richard. Oh, wow. Wow.
There you go. I don't got to play the whole thing, but y'all know the aftermath of that. And I found it very interesting that the same night that we talked about approval addiction, how a lot of women were struggling with approval addiction, we also see a brother, Will Smith, who's struggling with approval addiction. And this is what a lot of modern men may be struggling with. So we're seeing the opposite. So you either have like men who are toxic in a chauvinist sort of kind of way. Then we see men who are on the flip side, who are toxic in another kind of way, but they're just, I don't want to say it, but you got men who are ineffectual in their relationships and who are struggling with relationships, okay? And they're picking the wrong sort of people for them, and they're stuck in this cycle of approval addiction. And as you can see, approval addiction here is a term used to describe a condition in which someone puts pleasing other above his or her own needs. And then we talked about some common signs of approval addiction here on the right. I'm not going to dive into it because we already talked about it. But this is not only a woman issue, it's also a man issue. And you would say, well, how can you just diagnose Will as having approval addiction? I'm not a therapist, psychologist, or whoever diagnoses, but I'm just going off of what it looks like and what it seems like and what he said in his own words. And these are some excerpts from his book. We read the Will book and we broke it down. And then these are some highlights. And he said, the question is, this is Will in the book toward the latter end of the book. He's meeting with a therapist because he's having a lot of family struggles, a lot of relationship struggles. And he said, can you find safety in yourself and not from some external source of approval? Can you become a freestanding man? So this is a question that Will is grappling with. He's trying to become a freestanding man. It says, and then here he's meeting with his therapist and says, as long as you do things for the approval of women, his therapist is telling him, you'll never be free, Will. So this is something that he struck. So this is the approval addiction cycle. And a lot of with this Will Smith thing was a lightning rod in the community, because we see a lot of people. I saw a hurt man. I saw a broken man. Will Smith's a great man, very talented, but he was hurt, broken, and going through a lot. And then we see a lot of people standing up defending what he's going through. Oh yeah, he's protecting Black women. That man is hurt. He's emotionally damaged. So it's like men, we're getting it from both ways. If a man's doing something that shows that he's lacking emotional intelligence, women are saying, no, yeah, because it's self-serving, because it looks like he's protecting Black women, but that man he's destroying himself. It's self-destruction. He's struggling with the real issue. He's grappling with it. Sorry, y'all. I'm just getting a little emotional about it, because it's crazy, because it's like, man.
She's going to be at the red table. Would you say she has been instrumental in you and I redefining our relationship?
I would say don't just start filming me without asking me.
Oh my goodness.
If you could film me.
Astaire, come help us again, please. I'm still dealing with foolishness.
Because she don't just.
Would you say that she helped us heal the hurts that we caused between one another?
My social media presence is my bread and butter, okay? So you can't just use me for social media and not, don't just start rolling. I'm standing in my house. Don't just start rolling.
Please watch Astaire at the red table, because she's helped us a lot. Can't you tell?
All right, so now that was just a little quick excerpt of her life, and we can't extrapolate the whole details of their relationship from that one clip. I know, but it highlights and it shows some things that are concerning. We saw a guy, who's struggling to create boundaries in his relationship, and where his boundaries aren't respected. He's trying to put up a boundary, and his boundaries are respected. Man's in his comfort of his own home. He doesn't want to just be recorded at the moment. It seems like he seems exhausted, and you can look at his body language. You can look at him with his head down, rubbing his face, holding his arm, trying to get security. So this is a struggle that he's having. So low standards and expectations from your partner. This is something I believe he's struggling with. From the start, what they said about his life, and even what Jada has shared, was that she didn't want to be married. But Will wanted to be married, so he has a low standard and a low expectation. And then going forward in a relationship, if there's things that are happening that are current, that's not what he wants. He doesn't have an expectation. He doesn't have that standard there. It's concerning, man. As a man, when I see another man struggling with this, it's concerning to me. We're not gonna talk about Jada, but there's a lot I want to say about Jada. A lot I want to say. We're not going to talk about maybe after we finish this conversation, we'll wind it down. We're staying focused on the men tonight. But yeah. Now we're seeing, this is the last slide here, but now we're seeing the aftermath of what I think is undressed childhood trauma he spoke about. some of the struggles that he had in his childhood, watching his father hurt his mom, and he never really dealt with that. He felt like he didn't protect his mom, picking the wrong partner. I believe that, you know, if you're a man and you want to be in a monogamous, and you want to be married, and you pick someone who doesn't want that, you're picking the wrong person for you. And then poor leadership in your family. You know, you're not exercising leadership. You allowed your wife to put a battery in your back, and you allowed her emotional swing in reference to the joke to, you know, put a battery in your back. And he made the decision himself. I don't say he allowed his wife, but the battery was put in his back. He looked over at his wife and he went up there and he did what he did. Now we're seeing all the fallout of that. We're seeing stuff like Kodak Black, 24-year-old Kodak Black, just some ignorant rapper. I don't say he's a talented rapper, but he says, this is what his comments are. Jada Pinkett, baby, you was out of pocket. He said, come F with Kodak. That's what you need to do because you want some bull. You don't deserve Will Smith. You deserve Kodak. You deserve me. You deserve Yak. So now this man's dealing with a 24-year-old kid telling him, talking about his wife in this way, talking about his relationship. He's trying to defend Will, but this is what he opened himself up to. So now he's, you know, in doing what he did, he's gonna be on a fight. You know, he's gonna always have to be fighting and trying to defend the character and the honor of his wife. I think these are the results of a man picking up the wrong partner for him. So we're seeing more scrutiny, lack of respect. People are losing more respect for him. Numerous projects are canceled or put on hold. Damage to his reputation. Before this, everybody loved Will Smith. Now he's made some enemies. He's made a lot of enemies with this, and he's going to take him a while to recover from this. And there's reports that he recently checked into rehab and therapy, which I'm happy for him. And I respect Will. I think he's a great man. Like I said, he's great talent, a tremendous work ethic, but he's going through some stuff. And he's going through some struggles. But society isn't making it easier for him. You know, society really isn't making it easier for him. But so what are some solutions? And if y'all can think about now, what are some solutions? We're gonna open up in a second here, but I want y'all to think about it. These are some things that I think God or spirituality, purpose, trying to find your purpose and pursuing it, personal development, whether that be emotional, spiritual, and or therapy. When I've never been an advocate for therapy, but I never really know much about it.
Straight through the light.
Well, I gotta mute you, Latrice. We're gonna open up in a second, Latrice. Let's see here. And say, now the question I want to ask is, will we support and encourage men's healing? I mean, we saw when Paul went on and he was talking about things that he was trying to do to heal. It wasn't really, he got a lot of like, he was pandering. He wasn't really doing what he's supposed to do. Then we got to see here. So this is a little thing I thought I was interested. This got to be why men don't open up about their mental health. And it said when Tyrese had a mental breakdown online, not seeing his daughter, people laughed at him and he became a meme. Said when Kanye had a mental breakdown on TV, people called him crazy and he became a meme. The world watches Will Smith listen to his wife tell him live that she had an affair. People laughed and he became a meme. Yet folks wonder why men don't open up about their mental health. So there we go. Let me stop the share here. I know that was a lot. I know I took the gloves off. Hope everybody, we still got a lot of people in the house, so I don't think I offended people too much. I see Jay straightening up. Jay looked like he ready to go to war. Jay looked like he ready to go to war. And in the last conversation, we were talking about women, and I gave ladies the preference, and I gave them deference in the conversation, like if they wanted to weigh in, that I would give them deference. And oh, Anna's here. I didn't know Anna was here. Somebody said, right, Anna. Okay, Anna's in here listening. And what's up, Anna? But I gave ladies deference in the conversation. I'm going to do the reverse tonight because we went at men. And if men want to weigh in, because this is, like we talked about men, if y'all want to weigh in, I'm going to give you fellas deference in this conversation to talk about it. But we talked about a lot here, and y'all can think, I know the way it works is if you want to respond or say something, there's a reaction button at the bottom there, and you just, you click the reaction and then you raise your hand and you'll be in the queue to talk, and we'll go in order. We said a lot there. There's a lot. Brandy's ready to go. Y'all go ahead and I know some stuff. I know it was a lot to share. But we talked a lot. We said a lot of stuff here. We talked about therapy. Like, do men need to go to therapy? What do y'all think about like the influences that men are having out here? Is this influencing things? Is this affecting things? We talked a lot. We talked about a lot of different things here. Marco, what you think, man? What you think, man? What was going on, man? This is a safe space, Marco.
What you mean, like what have I been doing?
No. What do you think about modern men dating? What is it? You know, is there an issue out here? Or are women making things up? What do you think?
No, for me personally, I think just men just got to do the work. Like they just have to, get their mental together pretty much.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got to say about
that. Okay.
You put me on the spot.
Could you identify with any other negative or toxic behaviors in the past of modern men?
Well, when it came to like the accountability stuff, like I don't think I took like full accountability. I kind of put it mostly on the women.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, just basically I just realized like, hey, this has got to be me. Like it's not all on the women. So
yeah. There you go. All right, there's Biff. He weighed in on it. Lassie, man, the guys normally, man, they got their hands up. They ready to go. They ready to go to war. Any other conversation? They quiet tonight. Okay, we'll rock with it. All right, Brandy. Brandy, I know you've been kind of mulling this whole thing over.
I know y'all are scared, right? I usually talk a lot of shit, but like, I just want to start off by saying this is not a men bashing ceremony. I'd like y'all to speak up more because I definitely love to hear y'all's opinion. There was a lot of comments tonight. I think they were concerned about negative opinions, but my whole general aspect on, why relationships suck at this point is I think like one of the main hurdles Black men have to overcome is where they're getting their advice from, because therapy is generally recognized as a negative experience. I think it should be important for the Black man to really put more importance and goals on their friendships and who they're associating with. I think that might get them, a little bit farther than where they're at, because trauma starts in childhood. Lack of Black fathers, lack of two-parent households, that's all going to affect your ability to be an accountable partner in your relationship. So men don't suck. We're just broken a little bit and we don't know how to pick up the pieces. And we generally want somebody to care enough about us to want that for ourselves. So, I hope everybody loves everybody. And sometimes it's just a broken ship that we're trying to get back on,
Mm-hmm. There you go. It's very balanced perspective, and I don't think you've hurt any feelings with that. I appreciate it. I think you said a lot there, and I agree with you. So yeah, you talked about something I didn't even think about, but who are guys associating with? And if to be honest, for a lot of men, it's hard to find those associations that are positive. Who are going to encourage you to do the right thing. So you made an interesting point, Brandy, about who you associate with. I think there's a quote by Jim Rome that says you're a combination of the top 5 people you spend time with. So very interesting.
Yes. Okay. Thank y'all.
Yeah. Thanks, Brandy. That was great commentary. All right, Paul's back. Welcome, Paul. I'm glad you can come back, brother. Did you see you saw the share? I assume.
Yeah, I seen it.
All right, go ahead. What you got to say on the matter, man?
I just got a question, I guess, for the fellas. What do you guys think therapy is, and why does therapy, maybe to you or within your circle, why does it have like a bad message tied to it?
If anybody wants to respond immediately to what Paul had just said, like what's the well, I don't think there's too many guys who had, I think about 20% of guys, Paul, we did a poll and 20% had I think 20% was indifferent, and I think only one person had a negative view of it. So I'm not sure that a lot of guys will weigh in and feel negative about it, to be honest with you. But y'all have that question there, guys. Any of y'all want to respond to Paul, go ahead and hit a reaction button and raise your hand and you'll be in the queue. Brandon, okay, well, I think Brandon normally has more comments. Do you want to respond directly to that, Brandon, what Paula just said, or you just want to talk about something a little later?
Sorry, I'm coming back to y'all though.
I was talking to Brandy, but it's all good. All right, Paul, did you have any things?
Oh, okay. I wasn't sure you were talking to Brandy, but you talking to me. Okay. I can respond to Paul. I actually have had a positive experience with therapy. I can give a real short brief, but so when I was younger, my grandfather passed, and I was really close with my grandfather, and it split me to my core. I didn't handle his passing very well, and then other family members passed as well. So I was very angry as a young boy, and turned into an angry teenager, and then turned into an angry young man. You know what I mean? And so in college, I had the intellect, I had the knowledge to be successful, but I knew that this anger, this rage that I had, because of my grandfather's passing and other family members passing, it was going to stop me. It was going to prohibit my success. One bad day could have ruined all the hard work that I did in school. So my senior year in college, I went to therapy and found out where the anger came from. You know, I didn't think his passing was fair because he was a good man, and it hurt me. So given the tools from therapy, it helped me navigate my emotions. That's one of the main problems that I think exist in the Black community. We don't teach our Black boys that there's more to emotion than anger and happiness. That's what I honestly see in the Black community. Either we're angry, pissed off, enraged, or we're happy, joking around, having a good time. And there's more to life than that. It's like trying to cook something at 500 degrees or at 30 degrees. You see what I'm saying? Either you're going to burn the hell out of it or it's going to be uncooked. You see what I'm saying? So I think that's honestly one of the biggest issues in the Black community is we don't teach our Black boys that there's more to life than just being angry or laughing around and having a good time. So that's been my personal experience with therapy.
Great commentary. Brandon always has a mature perspective, and I thank you for sharing, Brandon. And a lot of guys, if y'all check with your employer, and I did this too, I feel like I don't necessarily need therapy, but I see what a lot of brothers are struggling with, and I think that I could be better. So I'm open to it. And I reached out to my employer, and a lot of your employers may have something called EAP, Employee Assistance Program, and you can get free assistance. You can get free therapy sessions through EAP. And I've reached out to mine. I found out that I can get 6 free sessions a year. So I'm gonna go and I'm like, just go and talk about, just see if there's anything that I'm missing or that I'm not doing. I feel like I have a strong spiritual grounded. I feel like that's probably where I feel like God has held me and had me even since I was a child, and he still has me. So that's why I feel like I've been okay thus far. But you never know. So I'll be open to talking to someone else and see what they say. But talk to your employer. You might have there might be some free resources out there for you guys that y'all are unaware of. And if you think you've got it all together, just try it out just to see if there's something there. But thanks, Paul. Carlos, what you got, brother?
Yeah, I don't think there's, you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think there's that much of a problem with dating in relationships. I think people just pick wrong, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, how does Future have 6, 7 baby moms? Well, you know, he got money, but I know dudes like Future that's broke his own or what, and they got 6, 7 baby moms. Now, how are these dudes getting women? I don't get it. So of course we're gonna look like we suck if that dude is getting the women. And I do think, yeah, we have our problems. I think fatherlessness, I think that's at least 80% of the blame for Black men being broken, not having that strong connection with our natural father.
Mm-hmm. And I just shared that stat of who's not in the household, but what about even the fathers who are in the household? And it's just, they're not good role models and good examples to the children. How do we even quantify that? You know?
Yeah.
Because Will had a father in the house, and he saw his father knock his mom out, and it traumatized him. And he dealt, and he dealt with it on Oscars night. Is the way he was releasing the pain there. So there's some stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on, man. A lot of stuff. But great commentary, Carlos. Thank you, brother. I think Brandon, do you have something else you wanted to say, or that was you just wanted to respond to Paul?
You said, do I have something else to say?
Oh yeah, you still had your hand up. Were you good? You good?
Oh, I thought it came down automatically. I mean,
okay, you're good. You're good. I got you.
I can add just a small thing to that.
Your audio's messed up, Brandon. I'll let you chime back in, but right now your audio was staticky on us. But we'll let you get back in there. Go ahead, Tia. Welcome.
Hello. Just real quick, I did want to piggyback off of Brandy as far as, I guess, observation on its accountability, where association, I've observed that men do lack going to therapy, not only from getting bad advice, but also it's a level of almost in between self-diagnosing and self-medicating, whether it's the activities, hypersexuality, substances, whether it be cannabis, drinking, etc., but also, I guess, bad advice. So instead of going to therapy, you are seeking therapy from non-professionals, and I can't emphasize that enough. You would want to go to someone who is non-biased, so someone who is not just going to tell you what you want to hear, or they know you, so they're only going to want to see the you they know. But then I also kind of want to be empathetic, because I also fathom there is a lack of rather resources into knowing how and where to go about affording therapy, as you were mentioning. But
1 second, Tia. Nancy, if you could drop that link that you just shared in the chat, can you drop it on the comment for the meetup here itself? Because it's not gonna live here in the chat, but it'll live on the comment section on Meetup. Nancy, if you could share that.
Absolutely.
Ahead, Tia.
No problem.
I'm sorry for stopping you, Tia. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. But also, I mean, it's just a big cultural thing. Sometimes it really is a heavy lack of empathy also to Black men specifically, where you have to kind of suck it up. Like, I watched the movie Baby Boy, and I know typically the tone that a lot of people take observing it is like, why can't Jody grow up? And I'm like, Jody's supposed to be 19 years old. Like, he's not realistically going to be full-blown man mentality and having everything together. And it's unfortunate that he is kind of continuously throughout the film pressured to just have it together. But I digress.
Okay. Do you have anything else you want to get in there, Tia?
I'm good for now.
Yeah. Great commentary. Do you work in the field of therapy, or have you been to therapy yourself? Because it sounds like you have some knowledge as it relates to it.
I work in research science.
Okay. Research as it pertains to what does that? Help me out here.
Research oncology.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much, Tia. Babatunde, you're up.
How's everyone doing? I believe like our community, this is the history of the Black community. We've been through so much trauma that we all carry some of that trauma with us. Just dealing with racism and dealing with oppression. I'm not trying to give a cop out, but I think as a society, we all maybe should try to seek therapy. I've done a therapy myself, and I actually enjoy it. It's kind of growing up, without my dad in the household, he was kind of and the situation was really abusive, a lot of chaos. I kind of sought therapy at a young age during college, and I still stick with therapy now since I moved out here. Maybe suggested for everybody to kind of, maybe find a therapist that works for them. Maybe it's a therapist. Therapy in itself isn't bad, but maybe the therapist wasn't working for you. Maybe you should chop around, maybe find another therapist that syncs up with you.
Babatunde, your therapist was, when you were researching and looking for a therapist, was gender and race a thing that factored into your equation?
You know what? I was watching some Access television in my mom's house when I came home from college, and I seen, I'm from Minnesota. I just moved out here to Georgia a year ago. I seen in public access television about this therapist advocating for therapy, and I sought her out. She happened to be Black. I think if the person was white, I may have been skittish of contacting the person, but that's because she was a Black woman and was speaking so knowledgeable. It kind of gave me more oomph to like reach out and get in contact with her.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, for me, I had reached out to my EAP, and they give you recommendations. At least the company that my folks do, they don't give me the option to go find myself, but they give me options. And of the 3 options they gave me, one was a white male, one was a white female, and the other was a Black female. And my preference, I feel like, going into therapy would be to speak to a Black man. But I just wonder if other people have the same thing. So I'm actually going to try to reach out to that EAP person and see if, hey, can you give me, is there a brother? I don't know if brothers are heavy in the therapy field. I would guess we're probably not. But I wonder if that plays a factor into it, and maybe somebody may can speak on that who knows something about that. But I would like to speak to a Black male therapist if I were to speak with one, would be my preference. But thanks, Babatunde. But yeah, you said something there. Talk about the trauma made that have rolled down from slavery.
Oh, I'm sorry. I put it in a link. website to, I work for an organization that has this ran by a Black male therapist. I put that in the link for you. Sorry, I don't mean to cut you all off, but hi.
Hey, can you drop it in the comment on the main meetup here?
There's an IG as well, Cardo. I was gonna say the same thing. I actually found my son's therapist on there, and he's phenomenal. But it's Black male therapists on IG, and they have a great list of people on there.
Drop it on the comment.
How do I do that?
I want to say too, for me, y'all, the thing is, for me, I don't really want to do, I want to do it, but I don't want to pay for it. So I'm like, is there a way to finagle it? Maybe y'all can share something about
it. Is. Yes, it is. I am actually part owner of it, so we can definitely work out some kind of partnership with it.
All right, Dr. Brandon. But Dr. Jones, I appreciate you, ma'am.
Okay, you said how to do that?
On this meetup here that you RSVP to, just you can leave a comment and drop a comment on what it is.
Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, Jay, you're up. Jay, I had shared the clip of Jay giving Paul pushback. So Jay, I guess he's here to.
What's up? What's up? Y'all can hear me?
We got you.
Yeah. I mean, this is going into the whole therapy session right now, so it's kind of hard to pick up where I left off. I'm definitely all for therapy. I think everyone should have some therapy, but I'm not liking the way that you're framing the question like this is a majority of Black men. I don't think the majority of Black men are modern. I don't think the majority of Black men have issues dating. I think this is a very select minority. And it's kind of like a mothering of, oh, we should tell Black men to do this, tell Black men to do that. You should let Black men be who they are and stop trying to control them and edit their behaviors. So I think I'm more on that.
Let me give you some pushback. You said it's not a majority problem. I shared how today marriage is 50% never been married. And I shared 36% of children, Black children, grow up in homes without father. How is it that this is not a majority problem?
So we're going from marriage to dating, or we're talking about dating? Because that's what I was talking about.
What's the goal of dating?
Well, see, the goal for dating for everyone is not marriage.
Okay. Well, what is it? What would be the goal besides marriage? What are the other goals?
It depends on the person, but marriage could be one of them, but not. You could actually poll people. I don't think most modern people today, since we're talking about modern men, don't really want to be married. I don't think that's a goal for most people. Like you even mentioned,
that's not the goal. Is the goal to have a child and not to be in the household with that child?
You mentioned this in your presentation. Marriage is not in the forefront. It's not. You mentioned that presentation. Everyone, there's not an incentive to get married to have kids. There's not a financial incentive. And it's not like the Jim Crow era incentive that we had before. And you actually mentioned it's incentive for you to be apart.
Right. But now you said that the majority's not. All right, I'll let you continue with your commentary. I disagree.
I'm gonna wrap it up, but I'm just saying, like,
you're good. You're giving some pushback.
I think this is overblown. I don't think this is the majority of men, even in this group, that are considering themselves modern. I don't think that this issue of men having issues dating is a major thing. That's a minority. I think most men, and maybe someone could give me some pushback. I don't have issues dating. I do have issues probably finding a wife, but I don't have issues necessarily dating as far as dating women of any culture, of any race. So this thing where modern men suck at dating, there would have to be the recourse that we say that women suck at dating, and we don't have that issue. We don't say the same thing. So if it's one side complaining about dating, then maybe that side may need to do some type of reflection.
All right. Well, there you go. Somebody said we have two different perspectives, and we do. And he gave some pushback, and he stood on the square, and I got to respect that. We needed some pushback, and Darsko agrees. He's hand clapping. Yeah, so got you got some guys that are supporting what you said. But yeah, I think that there's an issue. I can look at myself, and I don't feel like I don't have it. I stopped dating because I don't feel like I was dating properly. I feel like I was burning some bridges out here. I wasn't doing it in a healthy way. Still feel like sometimes I may still struggle with that, with creating boundaries for myself and not clearly communicating my boundaries to women that I may be involved with, things I'm comfortable with, and what my expectations are. So I can say that I sucked at dating. I'm trying to get better. but I don't have, if we're talking about having a problem dating, like I can go out and date and I know how to treat a woman with respect. I know how to do all that stuff. But for me, the goal of dating isn't just dating. There's a long-term goal there. So I just have a different perspective on that. But I think all perspectives are welcome, and I appreciate you giving some pushback. Go ahead, Bacchus, you're up.
All right, cool. Yeah, I just wanted to get on a few things that people that said on this. That first video about starting young, those third graders, that was bonkers. That was actually pretty damn funny and scary at the same time. It was like, where are they getting this from? How do they see this? And like that.
Not at the teacher said she's right about the young girl saying, I don't need a man, all that stuff. So they're teaching them at a young age. So yeah, I do think it's scary.
Right. So apparently, mama is spewing that at home, but whatever. That's a whole nother discussion. About the therapy thing is the first step to healing is first of all, saying that you have a problem or you need help. That's like off top. But me personally, I know you said there was like several different choices. I'm not talking to a woman about my problems because they're always on code regardless. So with me, the therapist I'm looking for is always going to be preferably a Black male. But then again, I just prefer male off top. You would like to think Black because you think for the culture, but not everybody who share your skin tone has the same life experience. I grew up with my dad until the day he died. And then I had my stepdad after that. And I've always had strong male role models in my life, but I always, choose to do my own thing.
That's interesting. Yeah. So you said, given a choice, a white male or a Black female, because you believe women are going to be on code, you're going to go with the man.
Always. I said this to a friend of mine the other day. I don't even subscribe to women YouTubers. I don't trust you. No, I'm very anti on that. I usually, I prefer to follow men rather than follow women. That's just me, per se. But I know everybody's going to do their own thing. Don't get me wrong. There's some women that I see that doing their thing, and I'm like, I like what you're doing, but I'm still not going to give you a subscription. So
well, hold on. Why don't you follow them? Well, I don't get it. What's the
because I always know that they're always going to look out for each other, and I see this where my sisters have told me horrible freaking advice just to look out for the woman that they don't even know, rather than looking out for their own blood brother. And I've seen this just in life, so I much always rather go with men because I do the same thing. I do the same with men. I know you or not, I'm always going to look out, knowing how hard we have it, always going to look out for the guy regardless. And
So
I feel sisters do this. I feel the same.
Do you feel like there's any value in an opinion or a perspective from the opposite sex?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I most definitely, take that. But my trust issues are so fucked up. Like I can respect it and I can see it, but I'll hold it. But it really has to really mean something, and it's very rare that it actually does.
All right.
So that's just me. But yeah, that's all I have for now. Like I said, knowing that you need it, going to find it, and sticking with it, consistency, especially 1-2 sessions ain't going to clear up the years of trauma. It's going to be something consistent and doing whatever the person is saying to work through whatever you have to. Doing it on your own or doing it with your friends, it's not going to work. So I expected this Zoom thing here to be nothing but men bashing or us. I was really waiting for it. But I find it lovely to see that they understand that we do have feelings too, ish, and we're willing to work through it. So that's cool.
There you go. There you go. There's Bacchus' opinion, and he said something there, and he's dealt with his trust issues, and I get it. And I'll be honest, man, with this Will Smith, I want to go back to the Will Smith thing. When I saw this thing happen, I saw it unfold, and I saw a lot of Black women's reaction to it. Bacchus talk about staying on code. What I saw was a brother who had a 20-year stellar career go up and just lose it. And I saw a lot of Black women defending that sort of behavior. And so, to me, it seemed really self-serving when I saw that. And I can understand how a Bacchus or somebody else, another man could come to have trust issues in women, because when you see behavior that a Black man's doing that's negative and that's self-destructive and is being defended, all in the name of defending womanhood or what have you, when it's at this own man's self-destruction, I can see how a man could come to have trust issues with and feeling like women stay on code. So I mean, I think that's the issue. And this, and my thinking, that I had to either process it myself and say, well, I think a lot of people need therapy, even people who defend his actions there. I think that therapy may be needed because it's coming from someplace. I can't assume, I couldn't bring myself to assume that they don't want well for Black men.
So I just want to say one more thing. Somebody had said in the chat, and I'm going to butcher it, and I don't remember who it was, but it was basically saying is that some men have, because of trauma, they're overly sexualized. And I think that could be very true. It's just because of whatever trauma has happened, you need to overcompensate that, prove that you're a man, and to prove you're a man is by sleeping with 100 women, et cetera, et cetera. So that is something, and unfortunately, that's one person trying to overcome something, but damaging other people in the process of doing that. So
no, Bacchus, he's sexually free. He's expressing his sexual freedom. That's what we're going with.
Take it from one who's done it for many years. Is some more
because we don't judge women by the same metric. We don't say, well, you know,
hold on, Jay. Wrong conversation, Jay. We can talk about that. We may can talk about that later, but right now we're staying on the men. Yeah, there's a good little flip and good little switch around you tried there, but we'll make it revisit that. Yeah. All right, Corey, you're up.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on Paul.
Mm-hmm.
You know, as he was talking about, you know, that he went to therapy and he's bettering himself and all that, which is a good thing, because most men, they don't do that. And I applaud him for, you know, just admitting that that's what he do.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, when you have therapy, sometimes it works and sometimes it don't. It's more of, you know, what therapist is for you that can relate to your situation. That's the main thing. And with the thing about the Will situation, how he did that, you know, just on national TV, that was wrong, but I see why he did that. But how she portrayed it, it made him look like he was, you know, not really defending her, but it was kind of like he was trying to do an ego, and she was using that as a control thing for him. And that was one thing I didn't really like. Now, how Chris Rock, how he just sit there and just took it. I mean, that was very classy. I mean, because anybody else, they would have reacted.
Yeah, I think Chris Rock's the unsung hero.
Yeah.
You know, imagine if he had swung back and you just got two of our brothers up there just going to town, going to war.
Exactly.
Man, that would have been a bad look.
Hero,
man. He's even been saying, hey, look, don't, you know, people saying F Will. He said, look, and I respect him because he said, look, don't say anything about it. You know, don't talk about Will. Y'all stop. You know what I mean? So even in that, he's sticking up for Will in the way that he can. I think he even considered, you know, he was embarrassed. So I think, he's an unsung hero of it all.
Hey, Carter, can I ask you a quick question? I know we're in a row. Just a quick question.
Ask me or Corey?
No, ask you real quick.
All right.
How do you feel after the aftermath? Will lost all the things that he lost towards the end of last week. How do you feel about that?
It's hurtful, man. It's hurtful, man. You got me. It's touching, man, because I respect Will, man, and what he's going through is really sad, man. And I think he's I read his book, and he's had a heroin story. It's a great book. I think everybody should read it. But we're seeing what happens when we don't address certain things in our life, and everything that he lost as a result of that. It's a very, all of the loss of his reputation, the damage to his reputation, the money that he's missed out on, the friendships that may be bruised from it, people's perspective of him, shifting. It's terrible, man. It's a very terrible thing. That's why I don't understand anybody defending it on any level. I get there needs to be a conversation about protecting Black women and how to protect Black women, and I get it, and I'm all for that. But this wasn't, I don't think this was a time. This was a very sad situation, and everything that Will's losing and he's going through, it's very unfortunate. And see, Anna said he'll get them back. It's not hard. You can't just bounce back like that, Anna. This is like, it's gonna take a while. People, he's a meme now. So, you know, it's just not, it's
10
just
years. 10 years. Like 10 years he can't be part of a club.
Yeah, I mean, it's irreparable, some of the stuff. He may come back. I believe from reading Will's story, if anybody can do it, I think Will can do it. But it's not going to be an easy task to repair that, to repair people's trust in them, people's confidence. To you know, somebody at one point, Will was a kid's role model. He can't just step out tomorrow and become a child's role model again. You just don't get that back overnight. So it's just not something we can just breeze over, gloss over. I know people want to defend it, but you just can't. It can't be defended. All right, go ahead, Tawana. Yeah, it's just hurtful, man. It's hurtful. I feel sorry for him, man. And I want to see, I think in terms of Black men, we have for a while, we benefited from great global ambassadors. And Will Smith has been one. Barack Obama's been one. Michael Jordan's been one. This is why, even considering all the negative stuff that we as Black men have going on in the world, we still benefit from the global Black male image of positive role models. You know what I mean? And this, you know, this Will was one of our was the apex for us in a lot of respects. And so a lot of that, the Black male image took a little hit, but I think we can get it back. But so as we as Black men, when we do something, it affects us all, whether we like to admit or not. I know some people believe in this whole thing of divesting from the Black community. I'm not part of it, but you are. If you have Black skin, you're a Black man, and this is how the world's seeing you. So when you do something, it affects us all. It affects the overall perception of us all. And so we took a little hit with this one. But I think Will, like I said, I think if anybody can bounce back, and just from reading Will's story and reading everything he went through, I think it could be Will. So I got great respect for Will. I just think that this was a sad moment for him. Go ahead, Tawana.
Yes. So, I mean, I was just thinking about all the discussions and what everybody was saying. And I think that the Black community was hurt a lot, of course, by slavery. That didn't help. And then, I mean, I think socialization, where it's cool to have lots of women. It's cool in the videos and the rap music industry, where everybody is basically proposing that you should, you know, have several women, sleep around, just do whatever makes you happy. And it's nothing focused on family. So when you have like a Russell Wilson, who is promoting family, who's promoting being a good Black man and supporting his wife and his family, that's looked at and seen as being a simp, when in actuality, he's being a good man. He's being a father. He's being a family man. And I think just the socialization of Black men, period, it's stemming probably from slavery, has really negatively impacted our society in the sense that we just don't have that anymore, where we have Black families. And I look at other like cultures, and I think we all see it. They build, you know what I mean? You have them building, you have a mother, you have a father. When you see a Caucasian or Hispanic men, they're getting married at 30, 35, 40. And meanwhile, you got, you know, Uncle Pete over here who's 55, who's still being a player. I mean, I think that has to change. And I think that your forum is really, really great, because it's allowing for some really honest, open dialogue where men and women can come together and talk about the relationship problems that we have and try to build that, because it needs to be discussed, and how to repair that. Because if we don't start building as a community, we're not going to have that many Black families. I mean, it's just not going to happen. I mean, and that's the way you, that's how Black people can be prosperous. I mean, you have a husband, you have a wife, you're building, you're trying to, you know, get that American dream. But if men don't want to commit, if they don't want to have a family, then what are we doing? We're just going to date perpetually with no end in sight. I mean, I don't think that that's the goal. We just don't want to have as somebody just said, I think it was Nika, generation after generation after generation of single women, you know, trying to raise these kids on their own. And, you know, women are being independent, not because they want to be independent, modern women, but because they have to be, because I mean, I'm not going to not strive and make my goals and hit my goals, trying to wait on the support of a man and a commitment of a man and a family man. I mean, you're going to have to do things on your own to make it. So at this point, I think this was a really good discussion because it does need to be open. And I do think that the Kevin Samuels are taking over. But a forum like what you have today, where you're encouraging men to be husbands, to be fathers, to be good men, that is not really out there because everybody's listening to Kevin Samuels, who's telling women that they're less than and so on and so forth, which is ridiculous. And so I enjoyed the discussion, and I just think that more discussions need to be had so that, the relationship between Black men and Black women can improve. Because if we don't get there, we're not going to have it. Okay. We're not going to have those strong family households, 2-parent households, and we need it. And that's all I need to say. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Tawana. T, you are up.
Hello, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I second everything that Tawana just said. I wanted to go back to a couple of things. First and foremost, the video where you show the students in the classroom. As it relates to needs and wants, I believe perception is everything. Women, as Tawana was just saying, we have a desire for a spouse or a male partner, but we can't just wait around and not do anything in life because we don't have a mate. So I like to look at it as I don't need a man, but I want a man. I want a partner, a life partner to come alongside me to help me be a better me and so that I can help him be a better him. So I think it's all in how we perceive that statement when people are like, I don't need a man. If you go without a need, you die. We're not going to die because there's so many women out here without men and vice versa. To go back to what Jay said about therapy and men, I think being healthy is the main focus. I work in an environment where I get to see the effects of broken family units, and I'm dealing with children who are lacking male role models in the household, as well as women who have taken on trucking jobs and are away from their children for extended periods of times. And so that makes for a broken household because I believe a healthy child has the influence of both parents. Jay, I respect your statement that every relationship, the goal isn't marriage, but if the goal is sex and we're reproducing, it should be that we are expecting to have a healthy family unit if that's what we're out here doing. And statistics do show that the African American community is suffering more than other communities because of that lack and that brokenness.
Yep. Great point toward the end there, T.
Thank you.
Point. And Jay had said some comments. He said Will was already a meme, but think about what he was a meme for. He was a meme because he was embarrassed because his wife's affair had got out. So it wasn't a good reason to be a meme either way, even though he's a new meme now. All right, Nancy, you are up.
Thank you. T had some good points. I just wanted to make a few general ones as well, and to piggyback right off of her last point about brokenness, and to talk about the topic of tonight, right, which is modern men suck at dating. I think broken men suck at dating, broken women suck at dating, right? And so we're talking a lot about mental health and things like that. And I think the more healed you are, the better partner you would be. So segueing that healing, whatever that means for you, addressing your trauma, your insecurities or whatever, right back into kind of what we were talking about with therapy. I think that's necessary. I like to use the analogy of like a dentist. And so, because physical health is just as important as mental health. And I think we forget that. And so like for a dentist, for instance, you don't go to your dentist every day, right? But if you have a toothache, you'll go see the dentist. You got something going wrong, you'll go see them. Or you go every 6 months for your cleaning, things like that. And so with mental health, I think to some earlier points, I think everybody could use it and everybody should utilize it. Cardo, you had mentioned earlier about maybe if it was okay, I think of like finding a therapist of color, or like, I think Bacchus even hit on a point of like, you know, I prefer to have this type of therapist. I support all of that. I think that's excellent. And me personally, all of my providers, my medical providers, my dentists, my mental health providers are all Black. And that's just a preference of mine. So I just want to throw that out there and just kind of like advocate and support, like get help from people that you feel could help you best, because at the end, we all need a safe place to like address what's going on with ourselves in a non-biased place. Because my issue with like the Kevin Samuels and the Fresh and Fit things is that people will gravitate towards things that support what they already believe, so they don't have to do the work, so they don't have to be challenged. Versus, and even our friends and family, we go to them for advice and they will support what we said because they love us or they care. Versus seeing a therapist, somebody who should be trained to not be biased, to show you like, here are extra perspectives. Now, if you land on Kevin Samuels being your God, great. You have done the work and you still decided to go there. Perfect. If you land on the other end of the spectrum after doing the work, that's great, because you've taken the time to see all forms and to form your own opinion and not just be like a sheep and just like go with what's easy or what's being led. So those are some of my things. And I advocate for everybody going to therapy always.
There you go. Interesting point there toward the end. Say try it all out, and then if you land where you land, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, it's good approach, I think there. All right, Tia, you're back. You're back up. Man, people are still coming in here. Okay, we still got 95 people this late in the conversation. We're doing this. I guess is an engaging conversation for folks. What's up, Tia? What you got?
Okay, I want to say thank you to Tia and Nancy. Those were some very good points. I guess I just wanted to fall back on a previous comment. It was about the hypersexuality, as well as I think it does tie in with the accountability, and really all those statements tied together, just because it makes me think of like comorbidity, which is like when there are two or more health conditions or mental ailments that happen simultaneously at the same time. And then typically there are links as to why, so hence why someone with whether bipolar disorder or ADHD are more likely to have addictions. And so I believe if you are noticing that there are issues that already are going on, whether it's broken families, mental health issues, and you also are being hypersexual, it's something that does just need to be analyzed, meditated on, or assessed further, whether that is through therapy or other options, even just personal journeys. And I did notice that a lot of people were making the statement, and specifically men, about taking breaks from dating. If it is to work on yourself, sometimes working on yourself is whether breaks from sex or also kind of more so assessing your sexual situations. Also in the chats, I was noticing it can lead to rather generational issues. So if you're having sex and you're bringing children into the situation, it's just adding into complexities, but you weren't ready for a relationship, but now you have a relationship you're going to have with children and your future family, etc. So just to kind of wrap everything back into like a main idea is just to emphasize questions of accountability. And it's not just men, it's women, regardless of when you're taking periods, just constantly asking why. So if you're dating outside of race, it's like, why are you having these preferences? Is it actually because it's beneficial? Do you just like this person for who they are? Or are there subconscious reasons? Are you having sex because you want to, are you taking breaks to have sex, or are you taking breaks to find yourself? And I guess further on, time for self-reflection versus time that's not being used beneficially towards yourself.
All right. Thank you, Tia. Stacy, you are up, and then Sandra.
Oh, hi y'all. I'm sorry. I just wanted to, I was wondering if it's always about someone needing therapy, or maybe it's just like Alice was mentioned, it's just cultural and it's just really easy for guys. Like I think maybe a lot of them are just spoiled, and that's why they're bad at dating. They don't want to put too much effort into what's was easy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you said there should be
Is
enough
it
therapy.
really necessarily that they're all broken? I don't think so. I don't think everybody needs therapy.
No, we're
I think
just
some people just have it so easy. They just, that's why I don't want to put much effort to it. And that's kind of redundant as to what I've said. I'll put those comments out there. I just think it's really easy.
Yeah, I mean there could be many solutions to it. It's not a one size fits all with this. And therapy was just one solution that a lot of people recommend. And I didn't come to that. I think I also threw out other things I think people maybe could benefit from spirituality, self-development, whatever works for you to get this shit back on track. But something's wrong. I think there's a problem with 36%. Only 36% of Black children today are growing up in houses without families. So there's a problem. I don't know if therapy is the solution for everybody. I just put that in the title because it seems to be the most timely one that a lot of folks are kind of gathering around. But in times past, church was people's therapy or something else was people's therapy, and maybe that wasn't effective. But people have always found ways to cope and manage their situations and their problems. But therapy is just a new tool that we can kind of that's helping folks. So it's just one solution. And like I said, maybe some guys are just spoiled. Maybe they have it easy and they, maybe like the thing with supply and demand, there's a high supply of women, so you don't value. I don't know what's playing a factor into it, but therapy is just one thing we threw out there. But yeah, so I mean, it could be different things. So yeah, you're right on that, Nancy. Go ahead, Sandra.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I just wanted to like one thing that Jay said that I thought was interesting. He mentioned that women should not try and change men and they should only just, I guess, respect what it is that they're trying to do and go with that. I think that that's an important point only because I feel like sometimes in dating situations, we don't necessarily honor what the person is telling you that they actually want and what is it that they see for their future. How do they see their life going, and kind of respecting that and moving and making a decision within yourself to either move forward or come to a halt or maybe reassess the situation. So I think that that's important. But also I think
Jay, was that what you were communicating? Because is that what she just said? She sounded like she said something, gave you some pushback about what you said. I don't know. Did you say that? She sounds like I might say two different things.
Nah, I think she hit it. She said it right. Go ahead, Sandra.
Hold on. What did she just say though? What did she just say?
You weren't listening, Cardo?
I was, but to me, what did you say? Because she said that you had said that women need to follow what men are doing. Well, what was that?
No, it's more stop trying to police men. I think they need to focus more on what they can control instead of trying to control men in general.
Right. That's kind of what I was saying. I
Sandra,
think that.
And what was your issue with what he said there?
My issue?
Mm-hmm.
No, I think that that's an important point.
Okay.
That sometimes you have to kind of take a step back and just assess the person that you're dealing with and maybe respect what it is that they're trying to say, or at least kind of assess the person and the situation and see if it's something that you want to move forward with. I guess I'm saying that just as a woman, but I do think that sometimes it's difficult because of like past traumas to have introspection, just because it can be clouded by so many different things like life experiences, a lack of experience, just all kinds of different things can kind of cloud that. And I think that that's where the therapy piece can be very helpful. But I don't necessarily, I guess I do want to kind of get a few people's opinion if anybody has something to say. Like if you had a therapist of color, did you really benefit from that situation? And I guess my question about that would be because I feel like sometimes we all have, like being people of color, we have the same traumas. So is that the best approach to go with somebody who may have blinders? And that might just be my perception of it, that they have the same trauma that are similar traumas that I've gone through. So is that necessarily the best solution? But I definitely think that therapy
is an important piece. I myself have tried therapy with like 3 different therapists, and I didn't really get too much from it. But
all right, there you
yeah.
go. They got your questions. I think Marcia and Nancy are gonna reply to it. We gotta get Jay back in there first. Go ahead, Jay. You're muted. You're muted, Jay.
Yeah, I think when this topic came up, I was a little triggered on the emphasis on men. I think you explained why, but I think it's hard for men to hold that same position that, you know, women are dating women, modern women are trash, because I found out when men have dating issues, they seek out advice. They go to the gym, they get their money up, they look up pickup artists, they seek out stylists, they do things to change their outcomes. So I find when women say, modern women or modern men say, you know, that they're trash, that they don't do any self-reflection.
Oh, just keep it on men. We make it over. I hear what you're saying, but where the conversation is men. Just keep it on men. Just talk about.
I am keeping them men, but it has to be a contrast.
All right, Jay. You're focused on women here.
No, I'm not focused on.
All right, Marcia, you're up.
It's Marcia, just spelled in French. It's okay. I want to say, I think the older men generation, I think they're the ones that really do need therapy the most. And I say that because a lot of them never got the chance to really express how they really feel, or get the chance to cry, or get the chance to, you know, just have their, you know, feel their emotions. And I say that because, you know, I have older uncles who are still stuck in their ways and won't change because their father's father taught them this is how they should be. Like, you don't cry, you don't shed any tears, you have to be a man, you have to be this. And I'm like, you know, I just don't think, you know, when you have older men who think that way, now the kids that they bring in the world, they're training them to be that way as well. And it just keeps going and going. And that's for some men, not for all. I'm gonna just put that out there. But that's just my opinion, because again, you know, I have uncles who are way older, in their 70s, 80s, still with the same mentality. And it's like, even if you try to go against what they're saying, you're absolutely wrong. There's no way that you're right. What I was taught, you know, when I was younger, that's how it should be. That's how it should always be. So I think the real men that need therapy, to me, are the older generations.
Yeah, I think all generations of men need some sort of help. So I don't know if I can't say whether it's older or younger, but that's an interesting perspective there. Let's see, where was it? Latoya, did you want to get in there? Latoya, if you want to get in there, you'll be the last one to go for recording. Then we'll just open it up, y'all. We're going to go Nancy, and then Diana, if she can get her camera on, and then that'll kind of end it for us. Admin, what's your? I guess we'll see if you can change your name. Admin, that's a little weird. Go ahead, Nancy.
Me?
Yep, you're up.
Okay, I was just going to address Sandra's question and concern. I thought that was a really good point that she brought up of like, would that cause issues? And personally, you know, having therapists of color and stuff, and also I'm a therapist of color. And so being able to bring that perspective, I think it's more so about understanding where trained therapists are supposed to be coming from. Although I walk into the room and you see my Blackness, that's all you get from me, right? And so I'm trained to leave all the other stuff I've been through in my life outside of the room. And so oftentimes I feel like people who are seeking out therapists of color, or maybe same gender therapists, they're looking more so at like comfort of like, at least I'm walking in knowing that it's the same kind of like, you get it, you get some of the things. I don't have to explain my Blackness to you, right? Although my Blackness might be different than yours, it's like we're kind of coming in on even keeled ground. So I don't think it would hinder the process at all. But it was a really good point that Sandra brought up, and a really good question. That's just my opinion on that.
There you go, Sandra. Hope that helped out there from a Black.
That definitely answered my question. Thank you for that.
All right, Diana, you are up.
Okay, I got a few things.
Hey, Diana, were you at the picnic, Diana?
I was at the picnic.
Okay, I saw you. I didn't know if that was you or not, 'cause I saw you on Zoom. I just couldn't equate 2 and 2 together. But hey, you enjoyed yourself?
Yeah, I did. I had to leave early though. But like, one thing that Jay was like, oh, men find like men who have problems dating, they find solutions. I'm like, okay, haven't women been doing the same thing? And like, that point's irrelevant. Like, but at the base of it, I feel like a lot of times people, when we have this conversation about, oh, why is a Black family not working? It always like results back to childhood. And then they're like, oh, well, most Black families don't have a father. So then who's being raised? The mom. So therefore it must be their fault. And that they don't realize that they're using that logic, but then that's the logic they're using, like saying, oh, the boys are spoiled. There's a bunch of bitter Black women. There's all this, like, okay, fine. But at what point do the men raise themselves? And it's like, I had a conversation with my husband, and it was like, basically, if you've had a personal experience of being raised by a bitter Black woman, now that you're an adult and you know that experience, and you know how that affected you, whose job is it to go and be that male role model for the next child who's raising like that? Because at the end of the day, I don't never feel like it's a woman's job to teach a man to how to be a man. That's a man's job. It's like, I feel like it's a woman's job to fill in the gaps. Like, if the man is the head of the household, but the man gets taken away, the woman has to step up until he's able to come back into place. So when are y'all gonna put yourselves back into the place of authority, I guess? Because I can't give it to you. I'm not the one who took it away.
It's that's another conversation for another day. But it's an interesting point, and in some ways I try to advocate for men reclaiming our position in society. I don't say by force, but if you can't reclaim leadership, I don't know. That's a whole nother conversation. We may have to address it another time. But great commentary, and I'm glad you enjoyed yourself at the picnic. I saw you there. I just couldn't make the connection, but I said, I think that's Diana, because you seem like taller. You're a little shy. You're a little shy in person. A lot of us are, though. Go ahead, Carlos.
This is a question more so towards the professionals. What's the end goal of therapy in terms of the relationship?
All right, that was a great question. Poignant question. If somebody can answer that really briefly, one of the therapists in the thing, what's the end goal of therapy? If y'all can just answer real brief, because I think it's a good question. What's the end goal as it relates to relationships? Okay, no, I don't think nobody, I think it's a good, maybe somebody answer later. I think it's a great question, Carlos. But we're wrapping up here. We're closing in on 10 o'clock. And y'all know we end the conference recording at 10. So Sheba, you are up.
Oh, hi, everyone. So I'm from the UK, and just going to have to make one point, which is I've got two boys, and they're both in their mid-20s now. But when they were teenagers, they referred themselves to therapy, and it was just for their own self awareness. They just knew there was a problem, and they just wanted to address it, and they wanted to address it with someone who's going to help and not judge them and give them advice. And it's been something, they didn't consult me. They didn't say, oh, Mum, I'm going to go take myself to therapy. They just said, look, there's some things going on. One is very competitive. We had his degree in mathematics, a lot of pressure on himself to do very well. He did very well, but he went to address the pressure he put on himself, because he wanted to make sure that when he goes and dates, and he has been in a very long-term relationship with a lovely young lady he met at uni. They've been together for 7 years now. And it's just to make sure that he's balanced, so I would encourage every young man here, do it for yourself. You never know what you're carrying around with you. Sometimes it comes out in the most, you might think it's coming out in a very normal way to you, but sometimes it's something that you don't realize until you talk about it with somebody. And it's something that I would really say to anyone: go and do it for yourself.
Chiba, how old were your sons when you said they were teenagers? Like, you're talking 18, 19?
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Another therapy advocate. I think we're going to end the recording here shortly. If somebody else wants to get a last word in, we got a little time for that. But I just want to say we got a lot of thanks to everybody for coming to this conversation. I know it was a spicy one, and we tried to stay focused on the men. I think we did that well enough for the most part. But I think some interesting perspectives were brought forth, and I think we probably may have changed a few minds out there. I think a lot of us are going to want to try to do better. I know I am. We got a few great events coming up. We got the Pen and Proper, I think, is our next event. Kevin, you want to say anything about that? You're still in here, Kevin?
Yeah, so April 24th, we're actually doing an event at Pen and Proper, which is a Black-owned event center bar. And what they have is a game called Pinfall. Basically, think of it as bowling with footballs. They also have a number of table games and have a really great patio. So I hope everybody shows up and has a good time.
There you go. And we're doing a volunteer event, but that's limited on RSVPs, and that's already full. So we're doing, I think, the day before that, but that's already going to be full. I hope everybody who RSVP'd and who registered through the company will be there. I think it's going to be a good time, a chance for us to give back. I'll say thank everybody for coming. I'm going to end the recording, and we're going to open it up. We may open a breakout room, maybe a little later. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes when we open it up. If y'all want to dive in deeper or anything like that. But thank everybody, and let me stop